Was that the best race of the 2024 season so far? I think so, no doubt. There was a ton of action on track with a mammoth of penalties given out during the race. Let's break down this COTA Grand Prix from Austin, Texas. This is Let's Talk F1. But first, a few pointers to raise. Liam Lawson in for Danny Rick and a whole new level of pressure for him. I think he will do well for the RB team with the possibility of moving to a full-time Red Bull seat, maybe alongside Max. What do you guys and girls think? Let us know in the comments below. Let's jump into the weekend from the very start. FP1, we had Pierre with a spin. We had Lewis Hamilton with a huge spin and managed not to hit any barriers. George with a similar issue in turn 4, a big snap of oversteer, but managed to correct and react quite quickly. But then George had a spin in turn 1 pretty much right after this incident in turn 4. The wind seemed to have played a big part in the instability of many cars and the drivers themselves. Sprint quali, SQ1, we saw a spin again from another driver, Alex Albon, which almost looked rehearsed. It was pretty smooth. PS3 was out in SQ1 was quite surprising to me, starting 16th for the sprint race. SQ2, we saw Perez out of sprint quali finishing 11th, another rough start for him. Very good run for Colapinto and Yuki Tsunoda, both Aston Martins out of SQ2, also both Haas drivers through to SQ3, so that was good to see. SQ3 saw Max with a stellar lap to beat George Russell's time to take pole for the sprint race. George in 2nd and Charles in 3rd, McLaren's Lando Norris starting in 4th position. Let's talk about the sprint race. A fairly entertaining sprint race, I would say. A mega start for Norris, moving from 4th on the grid to 2nd. But to be honest, I didn't think that would last for the entire race. After battling with his teammate Carlos Sainz, managed to pass Norris in the final 2 laps of the race due to a lockup from Norris. Leclerc almost running into the back of Lando, which would have surely needed both drivers to end their race, and some good battles between Piastri and Tsunoda, with Yuki refusing to give back the place to Piastri, stating that Oscar forced him off the track in the first place. What are your views? So 8 points for Max and 6 points for Lando. The battle continues for the championship. Now let's talk about quali for the race. Shame what happened to George Russell, crashing out in Q3 with only 2 minutes left to go in the session. I really felt it for him. Max was on a very fast lap that could have taken pole position away from Lando Norris. Do you think Max would have finished on pole position if George didn't crash? Another shocker was Lewis Hamilton finishing P19 for the race. Not sure what happened there. It was very odd though to see Lewis out of Q1. So let's jump into the race. Tough weekend for Lewis Hamilton after spinning out of control and into the gravel traps on the very second lap of the GP. This makes the first ever DNF for Lewis at COTA. Luckily, George fared a lot better. However, I didn't agree with the 5-second penalty for George, and his response was spot on with a simple "what?" when his race engineer told him over the radio. Strong 1-2 win for Ferrari. Leclerc was on another planet at the Austin GP with no real threat to his race victory. A mega move on lap 1 to move from 4th all the way up to 1st with 0 contact, and doing so while remaining on the track. By lap 20, Leclerc had a 7-second lead over Max, certainly showing the true pace of the Ferrari car this weekend. We saw Sainz with an issue early out in the race, but apparently Delta 16 fixed the issue. He complained of heavy fuel smells in the car, which could have ended his race and even very badly for him. Luckily, the Ferrari engineers were able to solve the issue, and Carlos taking home a well-deserved 2nd place. The race saw the stewards keeping very busy, with a lot of overtaking happening off the track, which also resulted in several drivers getting a 5-second penalty. Pierre Gasly got a 5-second penalty for his infringements, along with Yuki Tsunoda, George Russell, and the one that costed Lando Norris a podium position today, conceded 3rd place to Max Verstappen. Overall, a very exciting and on-edge race, especially towards the end. All the team did well to handle their tire strategy, and we even saw Carlos taking advantage of the undercut. Very powerful. Only a few more races to decide the championship winner and also to settle the Constructors' Championship for good. Who do you think will be world champion? Max? Lando? Someone else? How about the Constructors' Championship? Let us know in the comments below. That's all the time we have for today. Be sure to check out our other episodes here. Share your comments below and join the discussion. Also check out our car merch at ModzCity.com. We feature some F1 inspired merch as well. Thanks so much for watching. This is Let's Talk F1.